What's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on one of the most highly anticipated pre-workout supplements from one of the most highly anticipated new supplement brands on the planet. It is, of course, Run Everything Labs, EWP in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That nutritional information panel ain't going to get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this here Run Everything Labs EWP, aka Enter with Purpose. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. In fact, before we get started, for viewers at home who are unaware, for viewers at home who have been living under a rock for the past 12 months and don't know, EWP, this Run Everything Labs, is of course Dana Lynn Bailey and Rob Bailey's new supplement company, Run Everything Labs. EWP is their first supplement, the pre-workout. They do have a bunch of other supplements as well. This is, I would go so far as to say, the EWP is the most anticipated in the entire range. Let's go balls deep. Starting from the top, serving size 1 scoop, 8 grams. Got yourself about 30 of them 8 gram bitches in one of these 30 serve EWP bitches. In terms of what the 8 grams is made up of, if we go through and do a quick summation of all of the active ingredients up in this bitch, you'll quickly find out it comes to 7.205 grams actives, which leaves less than 10% artificial colors, artificial flavors, and no fillers, which is quite refreshing in a pre-workout because we're used to seeing that number at least 20%. For a lot of them these days that go real hard on the flavoring, it's like 40 to 50%. So less than 10% artificial colors, artificial flavors. Moving right along. Starting off with Beta O, aka beta-alanine orotate in the 2.5 grams. That is a salt of beta-alanine. It's actually a combination of beta-alanine and orotic acid. Now the orotic acid is in there to increase the bioavailability of the beta-alanine so that you don't have to take as much beta-alanine to get the same results. Viewers at home who are aware would know that the clinical dose of beta-alanine is 3.2 grams or 3,200 milligrams. Obviously at 2.5 grams in this EWP, they've gone under clinical dose, but because it's with orotic acid, the beta-alanine orotate, you could argue that it increases the bioavailability, you don't need as much, and therefore you can get away with technically underdosing the beta-alanine. Moving right along, the beta-alanine works in conjunction with creatinol O-phosphate in a 500 milligram dose. Now, I'm going to drop some knowledge bombs on the viewers at home about this creatinol O-phosphate because a lot of people, and it's not surprising because based on the name, a lot of people assume that creatinol O-phosphate is some type of creatine. It's not at all. It has nothing to do with creatine. The reason why it's called creatinol O-phosphate in itself is actually up for debate in the scientific community because it has nothing to do with creatine. What it is, creatinol O-phosphate is it's what we call an intracellular buffer. So what happens is when your muscles start to fatigue and you get fatigue toxins, and in particular acidic fatigue toxins such as hydrogen ions and lactic acid, your pH level in your muscle drops, and that's what causes muscle failure. So it drops, it gets very acidic, your muscles can't rep out anymore, can't produce enough force, and your muscles fail. What intracellular buffers like creatinol O-phosphate do is they stop that dramatic drop in pH. They stop that build up in acidity, so it allows you to get better muscular endurance, so more power for a longer period of time, and therefore you stimulate more muscle growth. In terms of the actual dosing of creatinol O-phosphate, it's only in a 500 milligram dose. A lot of research these days is saying it needs to be 2 to 3. Well, the most effective or most efficacious dose is 2 to 3 grams. Obviously 500 milligram is half of 1 gram, so it's quite underdosed, but it's in there with the beta-alanine, and because of the way that it works works as an intracellular buffer to stop that drop in pH. When you combine creatinol O-phosphate with beta-alanine, it prolongs what we call anaerobic glycolysis. So you're able to train harder for longer and prevent muscle fatigue. So the combination of those two ingredients is really quite unique in this EWP. Moving right along. We then get into some more common ingredients, agmatine sulfate for muscle pumps in the 1 gram dose. That is what, we do consider that to be clinical dose, 1 to 1.5 grams, so that's properly dosed. We got taurine in there for muscular endurance. That's gonna work really well in combination with the caffeine down here and really well in combination with the beta-alanine orotate and the creatinol O-phosphate to help with muscular endurance. Moving right along, we've then got betaine anhydrous in the 1 gram dose. That's going to increase muscle strength, muscle power, help with a little bit of pumps as well. In combination with the next ingredient, beta vulgaris in a 600 milligram dose, that's going to help with their muscle pumps, that sick vascularity. And then we move into the stimulants in this here EWP. We're talking caffeine anhydrous in a stupid 300 milligram dose. That's towards the upper end of what most people are going to be able to tolerate caffeine anhydrous in a pre-workout. And that's combined with this proprietary EWP blend. Well, it's almost half proprietary because we can kind of figure out the dosage of all of the 3 ingredients that are in the proprietary blend. Starting with the first one, you've got theobromine, which is the cacao extract, a vasodilator and a heart stimulant. You've then got synephrine hydrochloride, one of the cleanest neurostimulants we've seen thus far, in combination with Arcofuel, aka aracholine hydrobromide, which is a very strong stimulant and a psychoactive. Now, viewers at home who are aware would know that aracholine, there's no way there's more than 4 milligrams in there. Synephrine, the upper dosage of synephrine, most pre-workouts will use like 25 milligrams of synephrine. The upper dosage of synephrine is 50 milligrams. If you want to go stupid high in stimulants, you're talking like 100 milligrams. So let's say that it's stupidly high in synephrine. So you're talking 100 milligrams of synephrine. You're talking a maximum 4 milligrams of aracholine. You go 305 minus 104. You're talking over 200 milligrams of theobromine, which is a shitload of theobromine of the cacao extract. So that stimulant blend combined with 300 milligrams of caffeine is going to have you feeling all kinds of stimulation. Moving right along, you got to finish off with your artificial colors, artificial flavors, less than 10%, as we've already been through. And that's what's in it. So a couple of notable exceptions that you'll notice right from the start that we're used to seeing in pre-workouts. There's no creatine. There's no form of creatine. Remember, creatinol O-phosphate is not creatine. It's closer to beta-alanine than it is to creatine. So there's no form of creatine, and there's nothing in there apart from the aracholine really for mental focus. There's nothing in there that's going to cross blood-brain barrier and really help with that kind of tunnel vision type focus. Those are probably the 2 omissions. Apart from that, we're dealing with a stupidly high stimulant pre-workout supplement that's got some really cool things in there for muscle pumps and some really cool things for anti-fatigue. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 2 flavors. Comes in tangerine clementine, which is like an orange mandarin type flavor. Comes in my personal favorite, that there, green apple. Got the infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. Got the double wall glass with a spoon up in his bitch. Got my brand new tub of green apple entered with purpose. These are real cool as well, I gotta say, man. They've gone all out with the packaging. They got these cool little, check this out. Even the what do you call that? Safety seal has got like Run Everything Labs on it. It's real cool. Anyway, open this bitch up. Bro, punch this bitch in. Grab myself 1 scoop of this here Run Everything Labs Enter with Purpose. I'm gonna go 1 level scoop, man, to be completely fair. And it does say on the label, it says, I'm gonna read it to you guys real quick. As a dietary supplement, take 1 serving, 1 scoop of Enter with Purpose with 8 ounces of cold water 20 to 30 minutes prior to training. So 8 ounces, if we're going to convert to the metric system, is about 240 mils. So I've got in this glass, I've got about 200 mils. So we're a little bit under in the water, but that's all good. Gonna take my 1 scoop of EWP, drop this bitch in this bitch, and let it rain, let it rain. Few flicks of the wrist, man. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes. And I'm gonna refresh my memory on how this green apple tastes. Man. That's probably enough. So you guys can see that right there. That's pretty damn well mixed, man. No floaters, no sinkers. Mixes pretty damn easily a few flicks of the wrist in a glass with a spoon, man. So I would go so far as to say blender bowl is not required. For this here Run Everything Labs Enter with Purpose, let me refresh my memory on how this here green apple tastes, man. It's good, man. It's good. It's, in particular, it's surprisingly good because I only use less than 10% artificial colors and flavors. It's obviously not very well colored, but there is a little bit of color in there. So they're using less than 10% flavor, and the flavor is really quite nice. It's not delicious, but it's not horrible. It's quite pleasant. I personally prefer the green apple because you guys know I don't citrus, man, and the tangerine clementine is as citrus gets. the only flavor that could be more citrus than tangerine clementine would be like orange lemon lime. Just take all the citrus fruits, smack them bitches together, and just call it orange lemon lime. So that is, if you like your citrus flavors, tangerine clementine is where it's at. If you're like me and you can't stand citrus, man, get yourself some green apple. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this EWP for, man. That's what you're taking this Enter with Purpose for, man, for those pre-workout effects. Real simple. The best way I can describe this, I've used it a number of times now, and there's a couple of things that I do really need to address. But the best way I can describe this before I get into the nitty-gritty, before I go balls deep in the effects, is this is one stupid high stimulant pre-workout supplement. I mean, this is the type of pre-workout supplement that if you are a stimulant junkie and you're one of the fans of the original Jacked, or one of the fans of the original DS Craze, you guys, you know, if I'm talking to you right now through the camera, you know I'm talking to you. You stimulant junkie motherfuckers, you know who you are. If you're one of those stimulant junkies, you are gonna absolutely love the shit out of this EWP. And I know that for a fact because I've given some to some stimulant junkie brothers and sisters of mine, and they have loved the shit out of it. It is a very high stimulant pre-workout. 300 milligrams of caffeine in itself is very high stimulant. Combined with what we reckon is about 200 milligrams of theobromine, 100 milligrams of synephrine, if that is correct, and 4 milligrams of aracholine hydrobromide. I mean, man, you are gonna be stimmed off your head on taking this EWP. Now, viewers at home who follow Raw Reviews would know that I generally don't like stupidly high stimulant pre-workout supplements. Generally, I go for more lower stimulant, more complete type pre-workouts. That being said, at the time of shooting this Raw Review, I'm 3 weeks out from a show, so my energy levels are really low, and there are days where I need to get into the gym and just go ham, and you know, my standard pre-workout isn't gonna get it done. That's when I have turned to the EWP. When I know I need something that is just gonna blow my socks off and just help me get into the gym and rip it to shreds, that's where I'm taking the EWP. So in terms of stimulant effect, I would go so far as to say, at this point in time, one of the strongest on the market. By far. There's probably 2 or 3 that I would class next to EWP as like the same grade of high stimulant pre-workout. And I'd probably even go so far as to say that in terms of the best of those 2 or 3, EWP would have to be right up there, man, in terms of high stimulant pre-workout. So that's dealing with the stimulants. Just amazing in terms of stimulation. In terms of anti-fatigue, surprisingly very good as well. Well, not really surprisingly, 2.5 grams of beta-alanine orotate and 500 milligrams of COP is definitely going to have significant anti-fatigue. When you're training on EWP, the combination of those stupidly high amounts of strong stimulants with that anti-fatigue blend, you just feel like you can keep training. Like it's not the type of, usually when we have high stimulant pre-workout supplements, you'll feel really good and really stimulated for like 45 minutes and then it starts to drop off. You don't get that with EWP. It's like an infinite amount of energy, as much of it as you want to use, and you can just keep training and training and training and training for as long as you want to train. That's really, the anti-fatigue is exceptional. In terms of muscle power, not the best, but not bad. So you can definitely feel an increase in muscle power, but it's definitely not the best. In terms of muscle pumps, in itself, they're not anything spectacular, and that's not really that surprising because you've got a full dose of agmatine, you've got some betaine and some beta vulgaris in there, but you're missing things like citrulline malate, you're missing things like hydromax glycerol, you're missing those kind of muscle volumizers. So in itself, it's not that great for muscle pumps. That being said, obviously Run Everything Labs do make a non-stimulant pre-workout pump inducer called Show the World, or STW as well. And when you stack them bitches together, the pumps are absolutely phenomenal. But in itself, the pumps are not spectacular. Then finally, in terms of mental focus, surprisingly for me, and I'm not sure if it's just the physical stimulation, but I feel pretty damn focused when I take this stuff. I feel like it's like gym mode is on, world mode is off, and I'm ready to train like a wild bull. That's effectively what it does, which is surprising because there's nothing in there that crosses the blood-brain barrier. There's no tyrosine, there's no choline, there's no acetyl-L-carnitine, there's nothing in there that's going to cross the blood-brain barrier in itself. That being said, there is a big dose of arecholine, which is a psychoactive as well as a stimulant. So I think it's the arecholine that's having that effect in combination with the stupid amount of super strong stimulants that really, I wouldn't call it tunnel vision focus, because it's definitely not the best mental focus of pre-workouts that I've tried, but you do feel definitely in the zone. You do feel that when you take your EWP, man, it's game time, and it's game time for as long as you want it to be game time for. So guys, if you're in the market for a stupidly high stimulant pre-workout supplement, man, that is just gonna absolutely rock your world and allow you to train as hard as you want for as long as you want without the effects of muscle, what feels like without the effects of muscle fatigue. Or if you're just a stim junkie and you're looking for the newest, highest stimulant pre-workout supplement on the market, you gotta go get yourself some of this Run Everything Labs. Enter with purpose. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. Stay up to date with all the latest editions of MassiveJoes RAW Review and all the other deliciousness in our YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW Review on the all-new Enter with Purpose from Run Everything Labs in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay